acid which we discussed. The question is, which statement are properties of an acid? Number one, react with ammonium salt to form ammonia. Only 4 reactions of acid you discuss. Acid can react with metal oxide, metal carbonate, and metal hydroxide. Regarding the example, I will give that example at the last when metal carbonate is reacting with acid. Just few questions for this discussion. So what could be the answer here? Turn red litmus blue? No. This is actually not a proper. Acid turned blue litmus red. And acid can react with ammonium salt. No, there is no reaction of acid with ammonium salt. Acid can react with metal, metal oxide, metal carbonate, and metal hydroxide. So what could be the answer here? So D is the right answer because both of them are not reactions of acid. Now, which substance react with dilute sulfuric acid to form a salt, and that can be removed from a resulting mixture by filtration? Leave this part because this is related to another topic, which is insoluble salt. Not all of them can be solved now because some of them are related to insoluble salt. That we will discuss next week. Now, which row shows how the hydrogen ion concentration and pH of ethanoic acid compare to hydrochloric acid? Ethanoic acid is a weak acid. And hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So ethanoic acid compared to hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen ions in ethanoic acid will be more or less. The hydrogen ions in ethanoic acid is a weak acid. Weak acids have few hydrogen ions. So it will have less hydrogen ions. And if hydrogen ion is less, what about the pH? The pH will be more because pH and hydrogen ion are inversely proportional. So what could be the answer? C will be the right answer. Ethanoic acid is a weak acid, so it contains less number of hydrogen ion. As it contains less number of hydrogen ion, it will have a higher pH. Is it clear? Question 7. This we already discussed. Like if you have two acids, one with a pH 3, another with a pH 6. Which one is a weak acid? pH 3 or pH 6? Which one of them is a weak acid? So pH 6 is a weak acid. Weak acids have higher pH and it will have lower number of hydrogen ion. This will be a strong acid and it will have higher number of hydrogen ion. Okay, in question 10, which statement about a weak acid such as ethanoic acid are correct? It react with carbonate. All the acid react with carbonate, even a strong acid or weak acid, all the acid react with carbonate. Strong will react faster, weak will react slower, but all will react. So that this is a tick. It does not neutralize sodium hydroxide or base. All of the acid can neutralize base or sodium hydroxide. So in this statement they mention it does not, but actually it is. So that statement is not correct. It turned red litmus blue. Acid can turn blue litmus red. Acid cannot turn red litmus blue. That's wrong. and it is only partially ionized. That's true, because partially ionized means it contains few hydrogen ions or small number of hydrogen ions. Ionized partially means few hydrogen ions, so that's also true. So which statements are true? Statement 1 and statement 4 are correct. So if you have a weak acid, all kind of acid react with carbonate. That's true. It does not neutralize aqueous. It neutralizes all of the acid, neutralizes the alkali. So this statement, why it is not true? Because they mention it does not, but actually it is neutralizing. So this statement is not given correct. All the acid turn blue litmus red, but it's given opposite, that red litmus blue, and it is only partially ionized. That's true, because it's a weak acid. So that's a definition of weak acid, ionized partially. So statement 1 and statement 4 are correct. Question 13. Chloric 1 acid. Chloric 1 acid is formed when chlorine dissolve in water. It is a weak acid. What is meant by term weak acid? It contains few hydrogen atoms. That's wrong. Not hydrogen atom, it should be hydrogen ion. It is easily neutralized. That's not about neutralization. It has less concentrated than, that's just different. It only contains partially ionized solution. That's right. The term partially ionized means it contains few number of hydrogen ions or less number of hydrogen ions. So statement D is correct. The concentration means number of molecule. You may have a high concentration of a weak acid, because the term concentrated means more molecules of acid and less molecule of water. But the term ionization means, like if you have hydrochloric, this chloric 1 acid, which is ClO. So when we say it is a weak acid, what does it mean? If you have 1,000 molecules or you have 100 molecule, out of 100 molecule, only 1 or 2 molecule will break into ions. So out of 100, only 1 will break into ion or 2 molecules break into ion. So we call it ionized partially. So this is a definition for weak acid. The hydrogen chloride gas reacted with water to produce an acidic solution. The equation is shown. HCl plus H2O gives Cl minus and H3O plus. Which statement describe what happened during a reaction? Chloride ions are formed by accepting electron. So how chloride ions are formed? They are not accepting. Hydrogen chloride loses electron. Electron is not shown in this, so you cannot mention electron loss or gain, because in this equation you don't see any electrons. So A and B cannot be answered. What about C? Water accept proton from hydrogen chloride. You can see water is H2O, then it become H3O. So water accept proton or take proton, that's why it become H3O. So what is the right answer? C is the correct answer. The water accept proton or take proton and it become H3O. And water accept proton from, because it is HCl, HCl will donate proton and water is accepting proton. So HCl is acting like an acid and H2O is acting like a base. Is it clear? Discussion 16. Why A and B cannot be an answer here? Because in this equation is not given in terms of electrons. You don't see, like if it was written like Cl plus electron changes to Cl minus. Then electron is shown. But in this equation, electron are not shown or given. That's why you cannot answer in terms of electron. Question 20. What is not a typical characteristic of acid? Which is not? React with alkali to produce water. That's correct. React with carbonate to produce carbon dioxide. That's also correct. Turn blue litmus red. That is also. But react with all metals. So acid does not react with all of the metals. Less reactive metal, it does not react. Like example, silver, platinum, you don't find their reactions. That's why B is a correct answer. In question 21, zinc sulfate is made by reacting excess of zinc oxide with sulfuric acid. So zinc oxide plus sulfuric acid, this will give zinc sulfate. It's a metal oxide plus acid, so it will give metal salt and water, so it will give zinc sulfate plus water. Now the question is, the excess of zinc oxide is then removed from solution. Which process is used to obtain zinc sulfate? How we can obtain zinc sulfate from solution? So what we can do, filtration is used to remove zinc oxide, where crystallization or evaporation can be used to obtain zinc sulfate. Is it clear? So because we want a soluble salt, so if we need a soluble salt, we use crystallization. Copper 2 sulfate can be prepared by adding copper to carbonate through sulfuric acid. Why is excess or more than enough copper carbonate is used? Why we use too much copper carbonate? Like you have a container which is filled with sulfuric acid, but when you're reacting, you use too much copper carbonate. What is the reason why we use too much copper carbonate? What? To ensure all of the acid has been reacted. That's correct. So B is the right answer. The topic is not finished, acid, alkali, and salt. This will continue for approximately for 2 more weeks because it's an important chapter. So what we did till now, we discussed the reactions of acid. Acid can react with metal, metal oxide, metal carbonate, and metal hydroxide. Acid does not react with ammonium salts. Alkali only react. Any question related to the class today?